the healing powers of Cancer. I want to talk to you guys today about this concept of Lilith moving into Cancer and the word Cancer itself, and how there's no coincidence that Cancer is also an illness, a thing that grows, a growing underneath the surface illness. And the fact that it is the same name that is labeled towards the season of the summer solstice, the same connection and name that is connected to the moon zodiac sign, the zodiac sign that's ruled by the moon, which is ruled by our emotions. So I'm going to give you the gift of this video in the first minute, that the healing powers of Lilith in Cancer is the capacity to heal the very illness that is in Cancer when we are able to understand the powers of Lilith versus shaming the shadows and the darkness that comes with Lilith. Now, I did a video on introducing Lilith in Cancer transit in 2022. I want to let you guys know that it will be happening in April of 2022. So Lilith is still in Gemini at the moment of this video. So we still have time to prepare for this, because it will be a very sentimental and personal transit for most people, and it will be an impactful transit globally. And this is because of the most personal planet to us is the moon. And Lilith is also a point of the moon, of the dark side of the moon. So what we're seeing here is a very personal transit. There's no way out of a Lilith in Cancer transit. Everyone will feel it to some capacity. And that's because Cancer is ruled by the moon, and the moon itself is a symbology of our relationship to the mother. The mother is quite often seen as the entity or the being that harbors unconditional love. And the possibility of the mother, the physical human mother, being capable of having unconditional love is very possible. In fact, it is part of the alchemical process in order to make babies, is to have the access to unconditional love. But I think that when we look at the Lilith in Cancer transit, there are varying degrees of our relationship to femininity and the mother that we're going to experience. Now, this expectation of the mother having unconditional love is an expectation that I, as an astrologer, in my opinion, is one that really hurts the mother. It really actually hurts the mother, because while she has access to the unconditional love, and it's the unconditional love that helps her to make babies, she is human. And quite often the shadows of the mother come from this expectation of her not being human. So this expectation that we have of the mother, this unconditional love that we want her to have, is actually Lilith. And when you understand unconditional love and you understand Lilith, you will see that it actually comes from a space of nothingness. It comes from a space of no expectations and no standards. And if you wanted to have love from the mother, like how you could have from Lilith, then it would be to understand that she accepts all. You know, she accepts the shadows of all. To have unconditional love is to love a murderer, and to have forgiveness for people who have harmed you and hurt you. And to have this expectation of a human being who, you know, is a mother, is one that creates a lot of pain and hurt for the entire generation and race of humans. The entire human race puts a lot of expectation on the mother. And so Lilith in Cancer is here to help save femininity, and it's here to help alleviate those expectations, because it's really Lilith, which is a non-human energy. It is really the unseen energy that is unconditional love. So a seen mother, a physical human being with breasts and a womb, is just a symbology and also just a human. So this is my message to you guys, because a lot of what you will see in the darkness of Lilith in Cancer, and it's not to plague it as right or wrong, but if we really want to heal Cancer, right? If we really want to heal Cancer, you got to understand what's happening. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of toxic flare-ups towards femininity. There will be a lot of people who will be threatening your femininity and threatening your identity as feminine. And this is not gender biased. This is within all of us, because we all have divine femininity in us. You will also see a lot of lashing out towards the mother. A lot of people expecting mothers to apologize, expecting mothers to confess their toxic nature. And while this is not right or wrong, it's just a part of the chaos that Lilith and Cancer brings, right? Because when we're looking at the darkness, the most deep, darkest of a goddess transit, you're going to find everything. So it's not about making them wrong, but it's understanding that it will not alleviate the illness of Cancer if we continue in the chaos. Why? Because we don't live in darkness. We live in light and darkness. We have the sunlight. A Lilith and Cancer transit can make it feel like the sun is gone. It can make it feel like we have no life. And as the sun is shining through the gray clouds today, through my window and through this awful winter aesthetic, it goes to show you that the sun always is there and wants to be seen even in a very dark transit. So people who have lost their light, you will see that and quite often people who have really harsh relationship with mother, no matter how good or bad you deem her to be. You know what I'm saying? People who have not been able to forgive mother for recognizing that mother is just a human as everyone else. It's the human condition to blame mother. And you're going to see that that toxic that the toxicity within our relationship to our expectations of what a mother should be is going to be very revealing to itself, and it's going to be sneaky and hidden. It's not going to be something where it's always out in the open. You will definitely see people talking about it, but you also have to look for the hidden parts of it that will show up within yourself. That includes myself, and that's why I'm spreading this message, because we all have these needs from the mother without the respect that she's human and has her own needs. This is why in my Venus RX deck, I actually have the shadows of the mother when it comes to Venus, because the moon and Venus are not always compatible, even though they're both feminine feminine planets. And in my Venus deck, I wanted to express how the mother is lost sometimes in Venusian ways. It's almost like she loses her Venus. She loses her ability to indulge in her own desires. She loses her ability to feel beautiful, right? Because quite often in society, motherhood is, like once you have a child, it could, there's people that deem having children means that you aren't sexy anymore. That means that you can't do sexy things, that you can't be pampered, you can't take care of yourself, which Venus is here to provide for our feminine nature. And so the moon energy quite often it wants to be loved by Venus, but doesn't always get that love. And so the shadows of the mother come out, in which she becomes Venus for people. So she provides beauty for people. The mother provides finances for people in some situations. The mother provides some sort of Venus attribute, but doesn't receive it back herself. So if you really want to understand the healing powers of Cancer, it's to understand the healing need that you have to forgive yourself and forgive the mother for not being perfect, for not being your everything, because the mother in human form has the capacity for unconditional love, and to love like a mother is a high thing to strive for. But to expect that mothers, from all walks of life just naturally can consistently hold that up is an expectation that often creates a murder amongst our feminine nature. And this is why Cancer is something that is not a coincidence, that Cancer is an illness and also is a zodiac sign ruled by the moon. So I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, but I do feel, just as I have with my spiritual healing journey, understand that the internal process can heal almost maybe even faster, more effectively, and more beautifully. And understanding that you can heal the cancer, the growth of illness within you, when you step into this forgiveness and when you allow yourself to cry. Actually, in the spiritual weight loss group, I've talked about how crying helps to balance the hormones. And in society, we don't really, we just don't really embrace crying for what it is. But it's my theory that this Lilith in Cancer transit may show the powers of crying and how they can actually help heal the growth of cancer, the illness of cancer, because it is the need to be hard. Cancer's opposite energy that society typically honors more than the goat part of us, not the crab part of us. So the crab part of us becomes repressed, and then we harbor feelings that have not been released, and then we have growths within our bodies because we are not igniting all parts of the zodiac. This is also why whenever you see me talk about astrology, it's really difficult for me to just say I am a sun in this and this. For my mentality, I am all of the zodiac signs, because when I see that I am also a Cancer and where Cancer is in my chart, I am igniting that part of me. So to deny parts of you in the zodiac also represses parts of you. So that's just a theory. But going back to Lilith in Cancer, I've talked about this in the first video, but elaborating more the powers of crying and healing and connecting to the mother, no matter how horrible of a relationship to your mother you have. And I've been blessed to not have such a bad relationship with my mother. Of course, we all have things that we wish we had, but I know that there are many people out here who don't even have a mother, or who had a very abusive mother. And Lilith in Cancer is also here to reveal those things, to hear your cries for the things that you wanted in your childhood, the things, the innocence that you lost in your childhood, according to the mothering or the lack of mothering that you had. But the growth of Cancer is about the ability to forgive. So while you have the process of recognizing what you did not get in the nurture that you should have gotten, that you really should have gotten, the part of releasing Cancer and healing the Cancer is about forgiveness. So we will find this to be something that is very, very dominant as we approach April, and even maybe before then, because Pluto is going through Capricorn, and it's kind of like setting the tone for where you're going to see a lot of the toxicity in the Capricorn parts of us. Then when Lilith comes here, because Pluto is in Capricorn and will do actually a conjunction to America's Pluto very soon, I think in February. Then Lilith comes into Cancer in April. So February to April, it's like a pre-show of toxicity. You're going to see that the alleviation of all that we have glorified about Capricorn is going to kind of fall a little bit. Bring it down to a more balanced, even understanding, right? And we've been seeing this through the Me Too movement and all that, because Pluto's been in Capricorn for a long time. But you're really going to see it as the Pluto return for America comes closer and closer. And it's going to give space for Lilith in Cancer to do what she's going to do, which is to bring a lot more importance to this other aspect of us. So these are my 2 cents on Lilith in Cancer. And if you guys have any comments, suggestions, ideas, feedback, or just things you want to share with me, just go ahead and comment below. Also, check out the first video that I did on it, where I talk about these themes in a more detailed way. Okay? Peace and love.